What's up, everybody? Jackson here today, as always, my little brother Chubbz.
Hello, everyone.
And today we're going to be talking a conversation me and Chubbz had. It was very organic, and I was like, damn, this would be a good topic for a video, so fuck it, let's do it. So basically what happened was we were watching the new Ashen trailer. If you don't know, the Game Awards happened. It was a big, ta-da with industry execs and others alike sucking each other's dicks and hyping shit up. And out of that came a few good things that we're interested in. The first, obviously, being the Obsidian game. I can't remember what it's called. We'll get into that later, though. And also a game called Ashen, which launched on the Epic Games store. Now, Epic Games, their launcher was primarily, back when it was alive, Paragon, Fortnite, Unreal, and I think some other game. I think there was one, Shadow Complex. Some others.
Yeah, there were a couple.
Yeah, it didn't have a big, huge offering, though, on the Epic launcher. It was mainly just for Fortnite, pretty much.
Yeah.
Due to Fortnite's massive success, which cannot be understated, like massive mainstream shit now. Like, there are parents, grandparents that have never played a game that you could walk up to and say, hey, do you know what Fortnite is? And they'd be able to tell you what it is, what it does, because this is like on news and shit. So Fortnite is kind of the industry standard, one could say, if you look at it through monetary success. Not gameplay mechanics, not content offered, not, anything like that. What you're looking at is the monetary, business model.
Oh, yeah. How much money they have made. All these other companies, all these other game developer companies, publishing companies, all these other people within the industry are looking up at them and looking at them as the standard of trying to get there.
We know this because Blizzard themselves or Activision or Blizzard, I don't know, but the higher ups over there have expressed displeasure that Overwatch isn't as financially lucrative as Fortnite, which is silly.
Same thing with Destiny, too.
Yes.
They've done that as well.
Now, here's the thing that when we started talking about, it's a good thing that Epic Games has this store now. They got a game called Ashen available. They've got the new Supergiant. It's early access Supergiant games. If you don't know them, they do Bastion, they do Transistor, they do the Pyre game, which I haven't played yet. But they make some really very art-driven games that have satisfying mechanics. I'd say Transistor less than Bastion. In this Hades game, it looks more like Bastion style, more action-based.
Right.
And it's a roguelite, like a rogue crawler, dungeon crawler, random fucking maps and shit. And it, you progress as you keep dying and stuff. By all accounts, a great game. So this is on Epic's store. They're giving out Subnautica soon, which that's a great way to get people to download your fucking launcher right there, is just give out a really, high profile free game. I mean, I'm not big into survival horror genre, and I am aware of what Subnautica is. I've heard that it's a pretty great game, that it's worth playing. I probably would never play it because I'm fucking terrified of the ocean. So fuck it, I don't do well with survival horrors anyway. When it's not about something that legitimately terrifies me in real life.
Oh yeah.
So fuck that game. But I'm just saying that's a great thing they're doing. So Epic Games seems to be doing all this great stuff. Recently, I say within the last 6 or 7 months, they revealed that they started giving out more money to creators who are using the Unreal Engine, which is in a lot of games. It's a lot. It's the foundation on which a lot of amazing, great games have been built.
Right.
And they're making it easier for creators to get a hold of that stuff. They're making that stuff easier to use, and they're kind of working with creators. And I think that maybe Ashen could be possibly the fruit we've seen from that. I think Dauntless might also, because Dauntless obviously is using a lot of assets from Epic.
Right.
That really clean, crisp art style in Fortnite, which I really like. I really like that cartoony, more, and some of these newer games like Dauntless, I would argue, is less cartoony and more it's still cartoony, but it's definitely not as cartooned down as Fortnite or something like that. The zombies look comical in Fortnite. They're very,
Oh yeah.
And so we were talking about all these things, but then we were like, okay, but when you look at Fortnite, this game, you got to call into question Epic's responsibility to not only the creators and everybody, but also to gamers. Because here's the thing, is a lot of kids coming up now and learning to play games, you know, getting into video games, Fortnite may be their first game that they get into, and that's sad. Because here's the thing about Fortnite. So let's get started on the PvE stuff, because I think it's important to have the discussion. When me and Chubbz, we say we find loot boxes to be anti-consumer, there's a question. I always argue with myself about all of our points. You do it too. We kind of take what we're saying, our ideas, and we attack them from the other side. I think it's important that everyone does that with any fucking belief or any opinion you have. You need to look at the other side of the argument and empathetically draw yourself into that corner and then attack your argument from that side. Okay? It's much easier to do this yourself. We are capable of it. Humankind has been doing it for years and years and years. It's brought us all the way to where we are now. And I'd argue that if we weren't so warlike and fucking power hungry and greedy as a fucking species, that if, let's just say, like, harmonious utopian society somehow bloomed back when the fucking pyramids were going on, right? All that stuff. And everybody, there was no slavery. There was no, like, conquering. None of that shit. That shit was unheard of. And we had instead bonded all together. I think that we'd be living on Mars right now. I think that's a very real possibility. When you look at how much time and energy and great ideas and great men who had these brilliant thoughts have been put to use on defense weapons, on offensive weapons, on basically means of warfare, means of conquering, means of gaining more power, means of gaining more money, you know, like all the dirty shit.
And that's where it really boils down to, is greed, ways to get more money.
Yes. And so the thing about anyway, but that's just how we are. So like when you look at Fortnite, it's easy to put yourself on the other side and say, okay, well, are these anti-consumer loot boxes? Are loot boxes anti-consumer? Well, to me, there's this question of how can anything that is a choice to the player be considered anti-consumer? Because the player is not being told you have to buy loot boxes. It's saying these are available for sale and you can buy them if you wish. And that was my defense of Red Dead 2's online's microtransactions, was it's specific, and that's the difference. So let me explain this to you. When we were talking outside and I was like, because you were like, I think it's anti-consumer. And I was like, I think it is too, but I think the reason it is when it comes down to the game design level. When a game is actively built with player progression, fucking unlocks, everything that is the core basically to that fucking progression, reward system, everything. And it's all built a bit around RNG, and not only RNG in the same way that, like, say a Diablo 3, Path of Exile, a fucking Grim Dawn would be. Like, no, the progression system that is randomized, RNG based, is also constantly nudging you into this online marketplace where your only option to unlock things you may want is through RNG that you buy. I think that's when you get into this point where is it anti-consumer? I think that the PvE story mode in Fortnite, the Save the World campaign, is entirely built to filter kids into this marketplace where they can open, you know, laughing cartoon fucking colorful piñatas. Okay? I think that being the progression system, because that's how you unlock, like, your new player characters. Because the way it works, Chubbz never played this game. The way it works, Chubbz, is, in just in case anyone else hasn't, the Save the World in Fortnite works, at least it did at the time of my last playing it, was when I did my review on it, my thoughts on it. At that point in time, you got these cards, and that was your character. And you equipped that card into this slot, right? And these cards went in from green, I'm pretty sure, in the player characters, all the way up to gold. So there was like green, blue, purple, and then gold. I'm pretty sure there were 4 levels of rarity there. Now, the level of the rarity matters to these guys because you have to, at a certain point, you get capped on the amount of level they get. And in order to unlock certain abilities and other things, they have to be ranked up to a certain rarity level. Now, there is a way with this to make them level up using like scraps or something akin to like the crafting system in free-to-play games,
Right.
mobile games. Where, oh, well, I got these many things, but I can break them down. Almost the same way Overwatch does it with their currency on duplicated items. So you get a currency now that you can purchase something, and it's kind of like, you know, this give and take of currency.
Yeah, you're constantly putting it back into it.
Yeah, and like you're still getting something when you get a duplicate or like something you don't want. In the case of like Fortnite, you're getting something you don't want, and you take that and you turn it into this resource that then you can then like upgrade this card, which is actually your player character, and skills are better at the orange ranks. They do better things. They have better base health, things like that.
What's weird about that progression system is, to me right there, that sounds like Let It Die.
Yeah, it's a free-to-play progression system. It was always, and that's the thing, to be fair, to Fortnite and Epic Games, in their credit, the Save the World campaign was billed as early access.
Right.
That would one day be a free-to-play game.
Right.
So I didn't, having spent $40 on it to check it out because I knew it was supposed to be like this new, brand new, awesome fucking game. I was hearing about it everywhere. And this was prior to the Battle Royale mode being introduced. I was less than impressed with it. It felt like a very simple gameplay loop built around like all of these sorts of collect-a-thon mechanics that are basically only attainable through loot boxes, which are dribbled out very slow through organic play. Because at the end of the day, this is what we're getting back to the progression system being compromised. When you tie your progression to RNG-based loot boxes that can be bought and sold by, bought by the customer, sold by the developer, I feel like automatically your entire progression system is undermined and compromised. I can no longer trust this progression system. I can no longer feel this is going to be a rewarding experience based on like player skill, player time put into it. I feel like this is now at the point where your progression system is, in my eyes, fucked. Because I'm sorry, you can call it old school or whatever, but I appreciate an organic progression system that is faster if I'm better, gives me options of what I'm doing with the progression, not just like, okay, well, I got this and now I can dump it into this and now I have to wait fucking 24 hours for it to fill up again and then I'll get some more, because that's how like this outside skill tree, because on top of your character card, that's your player character that you use, there's also fucking underlying that there's this like big massive tech tree or something is what they call it. And the currency that you need in order to level that up, you don't get it through like completing missions. It's not like an XP bar. It's not anything like that. What it is that you do that and then passively you have this resource gaining itself. And then it can only fill up to a certain amount and then you won't receive any more. So you have to make sure you log in every few days, every couple of days. It's one of those things. It's
free-to-play mechanics in the single-player mode,
but
right?
in
the PvE mode.
In progression, and it's not just free-to-play mechanics. Let's get real. There's varying degrees. When you say free-to-play mechanics, you gotta keep in mind that like Warframe is free to play. Right? You gotta keep in mind that like fucking Path of the Exile is free to play.
Right, but these to me sound like mobile daily lockouts.
Yeah,
like you gotta log in and you gotta do this and you gotta do a number of activities. Oh, but don't make sure to not spend too much time.
That's where the generalization would be better fitted.
Right.
It's like a mobile free to play game.
Yeah, there you go.
And a bad one at that. A poor one at that.
Oh yeah.
Because so at that point, I still can't say outright that it's anti-consumer, but I can say it's anti-gamer.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a lot of things wrong with it. And it's like when I brought up, they have an entire like 3-minute long trailers of just the battle pass for Fortnite Battle Royale mode. And it's like showing up on your YouTube ads. I literally just watched the whole thing. I was like, I had the option to skip it, but I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, this is Fortnite Battle Royale Battle Pass. And they're like, a 3-minute trailer, and that's all it is. And the whole build-up is like, oh, you know what time it is? It's a new season. And you know what that means? With a new season comes a new battle pass.
Yep.
Here we go. Let's dive in and see what's new this season.
You see, and that's where you get into this where I think it's anti-gamer. I think it's anti-gamer because it's the industry standard now.
Yeah.
It's the pinnacle of success to many of these other companies that are, already overreaching greedy bastards. You see your EAs, your Activisions, your Ubisofts of the world. It's already, this is only exacerbating a problem that everyone who has fought back against loot boxes, everyone who has fought back against even going back to like season passes, things like that. And I'm not talking about season passes that are worth it and fairly priced based on content made available, based on, I'm talking about like just greedy overreaching shit like map packs in Call of Duty Online. Shit like that, where it's like they just straight up had 3 or 4 maps finished that they were like, no, we're taking these out and selling them back to you on top of the $60 asking price. Mm-hmm. Right? That sort of shit, that's bullshit fucking, and that happens all the time. That's in all sorts of games. Destiny's expansion packs equal 8 hours of new content, maybe.
Reused assets.
And within that 8 hours, it's actually like 3 hours worth of new territory that you're actually experiencing for the first time and going from A to B and, seeing the new stuff. Maybe 3 or 4 hours. And so extended throughout 8 hours until you hit the end game, which is just daily logins and weekly logins and things like that. Fortnite is much the same. And Fortnite is worse, in my opinion, because Destiny, for all its faults, has never tied up progression in loot boxes. They kind of sort of did with the end game, where once you hit max level, your progression system is you get a loot box at the end of every level instead of like the Motes of Light and other things that could be used to purchase, marks and hoods and fucking bands for the Warlock. So it's like Destiny has never directly tied progression to the loot box. So the loot box in that situation has always been supplementary. You could call it a tip jar. You really could. You really could call that just a simple tip jar. Now, in Destiny 2, they overstepped that, and it went from being, to sort of like, it's you can see the hooks digging further into your wallet or into your pocket to grab your wallet and pull it towards the game. You see it more clearly with Destiny 2, but still never reaches the level of Fortnite. Never reaches the level of Fortnite. Fortnite wants you, the PvE Save the World campaign, it wants you to give it $40, and then it wants you to play it, nothing but it. And you want you to do it every couple of days, because otherwise you're not going to advance in level past a certain point within that tech tree. You're going to have to play it every day anyway, if you want to unlock these milestones and open these, cartoon pinatas that burst in colors and fucking confetti and shit like a child's birthday party, right? You're going to have to unlock those at a rate which Epic Games have decided you're allowed to unlock them. And that's just long enough, just enough to try to fucking peel you away from the rest of the herd and turn you from a player into a payer, right? This is if there is any other system where you can say this more aptly, I go for it. Show me. Because Fortnite Save the World campaign is 100% geared towards peeling away dolphins and whales from the rest of everybody and turning them from a player into a payer. Now, when you get to the Fortnite Battle Royale, this was created solely off of the success of PUBG, and not just the success of the game, also the success of the microtransactions that they put into the game when they said they would not. Remember that whole deal?
Oh yeah, when it was still in early access and they were like, oh, we're not gonna put microtransactions in. If we did, it would be after the game launched, when it released. And then, immediately while it was still in early access, microtransactions, and it was months before the release. And then it made so much money in that short time frame.
You can't forget old Brendan Green, fucking Player Known's fucking comment on it. He said that we have to do it because we have to make sure the stability of the loot boxes work for when we do launch it. Sorry, that's the realistic fucking... Sorry, kids. That's realistic what we have to do. We have to lie to you in order to make sure that we don't fucking have problems with our loot boxes when we ship it.
Yep. We don't want them to be game breaking or to have the numbers be fucked up or I don't know what the hell.
And maybe Epic Games saw that as like, look at this fucking company that can't even like polish this shit out. Let's pivot and do that. And they did it better.
Yeah.
They did do it better. There's way less cheaters than there are in fucking PUBG. And when you look at, but that's the thing about PUBG that they also saw was like the success of those microtransactions. Like you were saying, they were making tons of money.
Oh yeah, in a short time frame. I mean, when the microtransactions were put in the game to when the game actually launched, I think it made like millions of dollars.
Yeah, like an ungodly amount.
Like a holy fuck.
Yeah.
Jesus.
And it was off of a broken promise. It was off of a blatant middle finger to the fans. So Fortnite pivots. And they put less focus on the single player story driven campaign, and they move everyone into this fucking battle royale. They feel like this is the way to go. When you look at also another huge part about this is community and streamers on Twitch. PUBG was one of the most streamed and watched games at that time. So when Fortnite came out, all they really needed was to have it be an intriguing experience to streamers, and they did that with the building. Like, the building adds a depth to watching it and playing it. Like, I've watched, like, Ninja and shit, like, a couple of the top guys, just curiosity has led me into, like, watching, like, 10-15 minutes or so of gameplay, and you see this level of skill needed with the building in order to close off fucking yourself and, like, all this stuff. That's a depth that's not there in PUBG. When you watch PUBG, it's a lot more of like cover based, and you need to fucking position yourself correctly, and like it's much more real. I would say like PUBG would be much more real to read. I mean, not even just in visuals, but in gameplay mechanics.
Right, more realistic.
Being an FPS, being, you know what I mean? And so all Fortnite needed to do was be compelling enough, and they did that with that base building stuff that they pulled over from the PvE stuff.
Oh yeah.
And they did it great. I'm not going to say that Fortnite on the PUBG mode.
Fortnite the PUBG mode.
Fortnite the PUBG mode isn't worthy of its existence.
Right,
if that makes sense. And I defended it against Brendan Green when he was coming out like, we need to make enough copyright laws for fucking ideas in video games because fucking Fortnite came out and made more money than I did, and I'm salty as fuck about it now. But here in a few months, after fucking we've threatened legal action and all this bullshit, I'm gonna come out and say, hey, I'm glad Fortnite exists, because I see the rising tide of negativity coming my way for trying to fucking say that they stole an idea that I fucking myself didn't even cook up and like completely by myself, who borrowed from other people's intellectual ideas in the process via Arma 3 modding. So it's like, this fucking game, they both, in my opinion, have half-stepped it. They've both been anti-fucking gamer, because it's this, like, PUBG, the situation where they made so much money and it took them so long to fix it. They had these Chinese hackers that are coming in and just fucking blowing people down because of the fucking system that they created via these fucking in-game cosmetic items that sell for fucking 15, 20 grand a fucking pop. Not really to that extent, but couple $100 a pop.
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine? Of course there's people using cheat software. And of course they weren't prepared for it, which is dumb considering they created the problem in the beginning with the marketplace. They fucking said wasn't going to be there until the game released. So they created the problem themselves. Then they're not properly able to deal with the problem. Then you got Epic and Fortnite, and it comes out and it doesn't have this shit because of the Battle Pass. So let's talk about Battle Passes. That's content now. Like you said, there's entire trailers.
Like 3-minute trailers at the beginning of YouTube videos, ads, just about the Battle Royale mode. And I hate that I have to specifically say that, by the way, that like Fortnite, there's two separate games tied to this name, where you could say Fortnite to people and they're like immediately Battle Royale mode.
Because, well, that's the huge one. That's the big, and
but
I guarantee you most of these kids
know it's like you have to specifically say, because there are two separate games tied to this fucking name.
It's interesting, and I don't know if this is still the case, but it was the last time I checked, which has been a few months. But the last time I checked, Fortnite was still $40, the PvE Save the World campaign, which is interesting considering they've made way more than enough money, not only off of the Battle Royale mode and their Battle Pass, but also via the microtransaction loot boxes contained wherein, that they could easily have started giving that away for free by now, but it's still going for $40. And that tells me that it's still selling for $40 like fucking cakes, right? Why are we going to make this free to play when people are still buying it? You know what I mean? And like, that's going to be the case. Like, they're going to not make it 100% free to play until people because I remember it was within fucking like half a year, I'd say, that Paragon went from being fucking the 30 or 40 or 60. I think they had like several editions of Founders Packs, but it went from that to being free to play within a year. I'm pretty positive. Maybe even shorter than that. And the reason for that is that not many people, they reached a certain point where they were like, no one's buying it, let's give it out for free. And that will lead people in here to our microtransactions, which in that game were completely fair. It felt like League of Legends, it felt like any other game, until they started adding the chests. The chests are bullshit. I think if you're going to sell people skins, you should let people pick what fucking skins they want. I think it's incredibly shitty to put a skin for a specific character that someone might only play, one of their mains, like their favorite characters, to hide that in a loot box with 100 other characters' fucking skins and 100 other emotes and bullshit like that. I think it's incredibly shitty of you to do that, to make that the only way. And then have this premium fucking currency that's super expensive in cash that you can only buy. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And not only that you have to buy the chest, but if I remember correctly, Paragon had the system where you had to have the key to unlock the chest.
Yeah, it did. It had the fucking CSGO type deal, the fucking Steam shit.
Yeah.
It definitely did. And that's interesting because that was their, you know, and then it moved from that to Fortnite, which was just straight up fucking goddamn Overwatch loot boxes, except for the progression. Well, I guess that's the progression in Overwatch is unlocking cosmetics.
Yeah.
So
you just don't have to get a key.
Yeah, you could argue the leaderboards and things like that are the cosmetics, but I think you'd be a hardcore Overwatch player, not one of these fucking idiots like Paul Tassi over at Forbes throwing fucking 4, 5, fucking 6 grand down on fucking loot boxes. I think you'd be one of the people like Christopher Castillo. He's a kid who watches our channel. He fucking plays a lot of Overwatch. To him, progression is getting his, you know, getting top 10, getting top 5, getting, you know, like, that's like Toxic. That's how Toxic played fucking Overwatch. That was their progression. It was getting better at the game, getting more skilled, and the cosmetics were kind of just an aside to that.
Right.
Like something to unlock, something kind of like, you know, just like trophy or whatever. Yeah. You know, an aside to the actual progression, which was seeing their name climb the leaderboards, see their team climb the leaderboards, and become like that was their progression. Right. But a huge portion of people that play Overwatch, huge portion of people that even play Fortnite, that's not what they consider progression. Like, they consider progression Battle Pass unlocks. They consider progression getting that super thick fucking whoever skin out of the fucking holiday event item.
Yeah.
Loot box. Like, that's their fucking progression. That's what they're there for. And when you get to that, it's this situation where I feel like Fortnite is bad for fucking video games. I feel like Fortnite is bad for gamers. Like, the more I look at it and the more I see the financial success of this company and game, the more I see other companies try to mimic that success all of a sudden with this fucking bitching at fucking Overwatch because it doesn't make as much as Fortnite. Like, why?
Oh, yeah.
Why? Well, probably because Fortnite's making a lot off of the $40 into the PvE Save the World campaign with these kids that are streamlined to this experience by younger, hip fucking streamers like Ninja, who's with their favorite rapper, Drake, and other fucking dudes, Logic and shit, you know, streaming this fucking game. Jason Mewes is streaming Fortnite. Like, holy fucking Christ, Jason, stop. Stop. I'm sorry, every time I see him post on Twitter that he's streaming Fortnite, and I'm just like, stop. Just fucking stop, dude. Like, I'm losing respect more and more. I already had to sit through Kevin Smith's fucking Suicide Squad review. I already had to sit through Kevin Smith's. Like, you guys are killing me. You're killing me. You're killing me.
You're slowly killing me.
It's like at a certain point, people hit this age where they can't acquire taste anymore. Like, well, it's like Pops. Yeah. Our Pops watches these ridiculous fucking sci-fi, you know, creature features, and he loves them. And I'm just watching, like, how are you sitting through this? I hate this so much.
They love it though.
Yeah.
And it's like, the thing about them is they're more optimists in nature. Like, they're more like, you know, but the thing with J Muse fucking playing Fortnite is it's like, dude, go back to Mega Man.
But it's like, he doesn't understand what it is. Like, this,
he doesn't, well,
this
all
streamer
he sees
culture.
All he sees and all anybody sees is the massive popular success and how many kids are playing it, how many adults are playing it, how many teenagers are playing it. I mean, this game is so huge. It is ridiculous. It is made it is the top dog in the industry right now. It has made more money than any video game in modern day, right?
Yep.
Like, and they're setting the market example, like you said, you know,
Yeah,
because they made that money. And it is their responsibility to put that money back into the game to make it a more worthy experience.
Well, not only that, by setting this standard of this is the game, you need to put in a quality there that you yourself as a gamer would expect.
Exactly.
And having progression in a fucking, like, simple gameplay loop with mobile game mechanics and loot boxes and a progression system that directly ties to the loot boxes and a filtering kids to the loot boxes and giving out hundreds of millions of dollars in marketing. God knows how much they're paying Drake and Logic to stream with Fortnite. Famous Fortnite streamer Ninja now. Who knows how much money is being placed in hands there, but rest assured money is exchanging fucking hands. This is a business action made by adults that is leading children into the popularity of this game mode that will constantly pull at their fucking brain and tell them that the best way to proceed in video games, the best way to gain success in video games, the best way to get the best looking cool shit in video games is to go to your mommy and daddy, get their fucking bank card, and put in the information into our fucking launcher. And that's why I hate this streamer fucking relationship with these famous fucking people. And it's like, how much money is getting exchanged hands? How much are you getting paid to stream this way? Because I don't believe that you genuinely like this game. Because if you genuinely like this game, then I don't believe that you know jack fucking shit all about video games. And if that's the case, then, like, you know what I mean? And that's my issue with it. My issue isn't that the Fortnite, you know, like, Battle Royale mode, I can't see the merit there. That I can't see that they did evolve on the formula and make it their own. Add an interesting twist via the building. Add, you know, like, I'm incredibly, like, I love the idea of it.
Right.
I love the idea of it. But then I look at what it is. That it's this one game mode that's built entirely to, you know, convince people that they need to look cool. No skins, like, that's lingo now.
Yeah, that's
no skins, that's a lingo now. Oh, look at this no skin, what a scrub. He didn't even fucking spend all of his money on this game, this paycheck. He didn't get
the fucking battle pass this
season. What a scrub, you know? He's not buying $20 skins, what a scrub. It's like, dude, this is the sort of thing when you look at it at this level, where video games was meant to make us better, make us smarter. How is it going to make someone smarter to turn them at a very young age into a loot box fucking addict? To make them fucking think that, like, goodness can come at the, you know, at the expense of this. Take my fucking money, give me the fucking fix I need. And then I'm going to give you more because I'm not going to get what I want because I don't get to decide what I want. And I don't like to decide what I want. And I don't like to think about what I want. And I don't like to think about how I'm going to get through this encounter. I just want to fucking be able to throw money at this shit, get a bunch of really good guns and fucking player characters, and then be overpowered in this grindhouse of a fucking mobile video game. And so those are our thoughts on it. And I know that these videos are probably going to lose 10 more subscribers. Fuck them. Fuck them.
Well, the thing with Fortnite...
All I'm saying is that at the end of the day, I'm going to let you go. I wanted to put forth this conversation because I think it's an important conversation to have. Either you disagree with me and you can counter everything I've said, or you agree with me and you kind of see it and maybe you're a little more vocal about it and you talk about it with your friends while you're playing the Battle Royale mode, and maybe you make some noise online and demand better from this billion-dollar making company. And I'm not saying that they're not doing anything to put it back into the you know, creators' hands of people making games like Ashen, which is nothing but a good thing. I want these lower level people to be able to make games, because oftentimes that's where the true fucking gems are found. And so, and those are where the ideas of progression and things are being borrowed and handed out, and we're taking things from other games and inspiration from other things, and we're creating entirely new formulas that aren't oversimplified mobile phone trash. So like, I see the merit in that, but I think that Epic Games has a responsibility to gamers everywhere with this newfound success with Fortnite to take that and direct that game in a way to push this shit forward and not hold it back with fish hooks going for people's wallets.
Yeah. And I mean, to end it on a nice note, the number one important thing about Fortnite, and I've even started a discussion on Reddit about this back when I was trying Reddit, which I hated, by the way, but I
hate Reddit too.
Yeah, you get a split response on there, and I think you would see this split response in the major population of people, you know, who are influenced by Fortnite, who see the influence, right? Is they either don't like it, don't understand it, or hate it, don't see the progression system. It feels kind of shallow, feels like you're just doing the same thing over and over again, and they don't really like get the experience of the battle royale mode of the, you know, everybody versus everybody, you know, massive maps.
It's the idea that I like, but in practice I hated it.
Right, and that's like one split, and then the other split are people who, you know, they understand that there really isn't a big progression system, and they understand that it is locked behind a randomness, but they really, really love the experience that it offers. And therefore, the number one thing it should show you is there is a demand for that type of experience on the market. But the number one thing that you always got to keep in mind is, for me, CDPR has set the standard. Right?
Yeah.
And the number one thing for me is, like, that's a company who truly gives a shit about the fans, right?
Yeah.
They're not.
It's apparent.
Yeah, they fucking Witcher 3 comes out with Gwent, and then a bunch of fans are like, you should make Gwent an entire different game mode. And they didn't even intend for that to happen. All of a sudden, bam, here's Gwent. You know, free-to-play card game. You know, all this shit, here you go. And
the thing about that, what you were saying earlier, is it shows you there's a demand for it. Well, Hearthstone was a thing.
Yeah.
And Hearthstone was making tons of money, and they were like, why don't we just make our own version of that, but more fair?
Yeah, exactly, with the microtransactions and all that shit. But then on top of that, they didn't stop there. You know, they were like, fuck it, let's push this even further. And now they have an entire single-player campaign mode with full-blown cutscenes and dialogue, and it's just Gwent.
But it's like, it's a Witcher. I'm picking that up at some point. By the way.
But it's awesome. It's an awesome idea to think about.
It's like dude, the game actually changes based on your choices. So, like, if you make a certain choice against a certain character, then their card is no longer in your deck. So it's like the gameplay is all card games, but they have, like, that classic Witcher, you know,
choices and multiple different ways to see how it plays through.
Narrative,
That's very cool. And, you know, they're not just stopping there, you know, and this is a company who I look at and I fucking admire. Like, I look up to those guys because they made 3 video games, and look at where they are now. Their 4th full-blown video game that's going to be AAA title is going to make so much money, and they're putting so much money into it. They've made so much money from those first 3 video games. And I mean, it's now gotten to a point where the original author of The Witcher is trying to sue him for that money.
Yeah, because they made
But regardless, this is a company that blew up over 3 video games, and they're not stopping there. They want to keep pushing it.
Yeah, they want to expand upon it and make the next experience even better. Like they did from The Witcher 1 to The Witcher 2 to The Witcher 3.
And it's because they play video games. They love video games. And so that, for me, set a standard, because that is something that I really fucking, you know, empathize with. Like, I love video games. These guys love video games. And, you know, they like making good video games that they love to play, and I love to fucking play them.
And that's why when you look at Fortnite and you see it as just a snap reaction to PUBG and its monetary success, and you look at what it was before that, this free-to-play mobile grind with, like, progression hidden behind loot boxes.
Oh, yeah.
you start to see that this isn't us being about making great games.
Right.
This isn't us about making a fucking game that we want to see made.
No.
It's about us making a game that's going to make us a lot of fucking money.
Exactly.
Like, I would argue Paragon was the last time that they were like, this is a game that we really want to see and we want to play because it needs to, you know, like, we want it. We like these MOBAs. You know what I mean? Like, we like this competitive MOBA scene. Let's try to make some money off of that. Because that felt way more thought out and everything than fucking Fortnite. Like, Fortnite feels simple, dude. But even at the end of the day with the building, it's still simple. You land, you find a gun, you survive. In PvE, you go out, you defend a point, or you build defenses around a point, you defend a point, you're done. You know, and little variations on that. Go out, save survivors. Go out, loot shit. And it's the simple gameplay loop. It doesn't feel expounded upon. It doesn't feel fucking necessary.
At all. And that's the thing with Fortnite. And I would argue that the Save the World mode isn't what made it popular. It like, if it was just a Save the World mode, it probably would have fizzled out quick. You know? I would argue that it isn't because of the
it definitely would have. It was not doing that well.
I would say that the microtransactions and the
battle pass... Well, it would have been free by now.
But I would say the microtransactions and the battle pass aren't even the reason why it's so successful and popular. I would say it's the experience within the game, because there is a demand for that on the market. But it's how it's being handled, these moves that are being made, where you can see that this isn't a gamer-driven developer. Like, these people don't care. They don't have a passion for this anymore. They're literally just selling you new skins and battle passes and having 3-minute trailers.
Well, it's like the events they do, it's all like environmental changes. It's all like, it's basically all the work they're putting into that game is cosmetic in nature, except for when they release certain things like the Thanos glove or things like that that are obviously tie-ins with Disney that make them money. Them putting Thanos in the game isn't a, hey, here you go, fans, we know you love Thanos.
They have the money.
It's a Disney said, hey, Fortnite's doing huge, let's give fucking Epic Games a shitload of money so they'll put Thanos in their game, which is playing by thousands of kids, so we can have a symbiotic marketing relationship. Because that's what it is. It's fucking marketing.
But that's the thing, is, you know, so it's like,
I can't believe how easy it is for people to just eat up marketing and not understand what's happening to them.
Not realize how much money is being spent into it, how much money is being wasted in resources
you see Ninja streaming and you're donating him money, which is silly because Epic Games is giving him a huge amount of money to stream Fortnite. But he's getting money, and then he's getting to hang out with people like fucking his favorite rappers, your favorite rappers, and they're getting money from Epic Games to be there at the event.
And that's why I have an issue with Fortnite. It's not the experience, it's not the game, and it's not even the people who play the game. Because I understand that the experience can be appealing for certain people,
when you watch those videos, you can see that they're legitimately having fun. Like these streamers, like Ninja, you can tell he has fun playing it. He has fun being entertaining for other people while playing it. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that this is marketing.
Well, it's
leading kids into a game that has loot boxes that are specifically designed for them. To get them to buy more shit in this game.
But that's it for me.
Yeah, you done?
That's pretty much it. It's just how it's being handled, how much money you can tell they're putting into the game, and you can tell it's not as much as they're making, and they'd much rather spend that money on cosmetics, creating skins, making a new season with an entire new battle pass, environmental changes, constant live updates, and then they're still selling the Save the World mode for $40 fucking.
They still got skins that you can buy specifically with those V-Bucks for $20.
Yep.
$20 worth of V-Bucks. Wow.
You've got these 3-minute trailers just for the Battle Royale freaking Battle Pass for the brand new season. You've got freaking all these different people talking about it. It's in news, it's in movies, it's in all these different medias.
You can't go anywhere without seeing Fortnite shit.
Yeah, and at that point
You can't
can
go
see
anywhere. Like, there's Fortnite in the new YouTube fucking whatever video.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
fucking Fortnite at the Walmart, our local Walmart. You walk inside and there's a fucking Fortnite bus there.
Fortnite Monopoly.
With all, yeah, Fortnite Monopoly. Fucking Fortnite McDonald's toys next. I don't know. But
Fortnite
there's
bobbleheads,
yeah.
Fortnite action figures, Fortnite fucking game cards, and with
It's
Fortnite
everywhere, yeah.
consoles and Fortnite fucking, and it's just like, holy hell.
It's of all the games to make it big that could make me feel old as fuck, none could have come along that better did that than Fortnite.
Yep.
I feel old as fuck now. I feel like that what I'm expecting out of a game is in complete contrast with the majority of gamers nowadays. And that's sad. That's why when we talk about games, we're very, very, very pessimistic, because we understand that these companies aren't doing this to make awesome games. Like, some of them are.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not saying not all of them
You
are
can
like this.
feel it though.
Yeah,
you can feel it when
tell
you're
the
playing the
difference.
game. You can feel a huge difference between people who just want your money and people who want you to enjoy what you bought.
Want you to experience something
like
worth
CDPR,
experiencing.
where they're like,
Fuck.
we love this shit. We want you to love this shit too.
Rockstar 2.
Yeah, they
Or
have
Red Dead Redemption
the
2.
people who did Red Dead
Yeah.
Redemption 2. They fucking
that
wanted you to
experience,
love
yeah.
it because
Yeah.
they love doing this shit
Yeah.
and they love playing video games.
They wanted
and they
to
want
put you there.
Yeah.
They wanted to give you options. They wanted you to be able to have fun.
And you
play,
can,
and it's expanded upon. It's this massive fucking experience. I mean, sure, is it perfect? No.
no.
But
But then
that's-
you jump to the opposite side of that
Yeah.
spectrum, Destiny, and you're just like,
Yeah, it's you can tell that if there are bugs, there are problems to be mentioned. You should mention them. It's doing Rockstar a disservice to only praise it and not mention that it does have bugs that ruin player progression. It does have, there are problems with this game.
right.
Like, just like with The Witcher 3 when it first came out, there was a handful of quests that just brick-walled and wouldn't work. Like, you'd have monsters you were supposed to kill that wouldn't die.
Right.
You had quest givers that you had to wait to a certain time during the day in order to talk to, and if you didn't wait until then, you couldn't talk to them, so you'd wait until then, and then there'd be like 3 copies of them. So, like, there were certain things that were problems that they, but then you look at it on a grand scale, and it's like, okay, I got this brand new fucking car for way below the market price when you consider the average cost of other games that are selling lesser and more shallow experiences. I got this brand new fucking car, but there's this chip near the back bumper where a piece of gravel flew up and hit the wheel well, right? And there's this chip paint on the side of my wheel well. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, you can see the flaw there, but you also got the rest of this fucking car that's in perfect running condition and fucking works great. So it's like, you definitely should point that out, though, and say, hey, motherfucker, you should probably try to fix this because I am buying this, and you're telling me that there are no damages.
Is no,
Yeah.
Nothing like that, no scratches.
Yeah.
But if I see one, you better fucking
And
buff
they
it
will.
out.
Like, that's what The Witcher 3 did. Like, CDPR added all sorts of fucking fixes to that game to where my last playthrough on the PC, all those bugs that I had experienced on my PS4 in the, like, way early days on my first playthrough, none of them existed. I didn't have a single problem on the fucking PC version of the game. None.
Yeah.
I didn't have any of those bugs. None of those problems happened. There were, there's AI pathing problems. There's, sometimes there'll be 2 or 3 NPCs of the same NPC there.
That are
sometimes
stacked on top.
And sometimes there'll be an NPC that stacks on Geralt during a cutscene, like because of the pathing. But all of these things, like I said, little chip on the wheel well. I'm overall, this experience has been satisfying and amazing. But when you look at a game like Fortnite, just Save the World. We'll leave Battle Royale out of it. When you look at just Fortnite Save the World, it's beyond broken. They've installed something between your gas tank and your fucking engine that makes you pay more money to get more gas from just that point to that point. Mm-hmm. So now you got to pay for the gas at the station, then you got to pay for the gas to hit your engine.
And
in order to get to where you're trying to get.
Yeah, and then don't forget the cap. You can only go a certain amount of mileage before the car just shuts off.
Yeah, shuts off and tells you to wait and come back tomorrow and get more.
Yeah.
In that case, come drive me tomorrow and then you'll get this amount of free gas.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to buy it after that point. But
yeah.
So, Those are our problems with Fortnite. That's why we think it's bad for gamers. I'll stand by that 100%. I'd love to hear a discussion to the contrary. I'd love to hear countering opinions. Throw those down below. Also, if you guys have anything you'd like to see from us, like anything specific, throw it down below, because right now we're just sort of winging it. And when we have a conversation about something that's video worthy, you guys will be part of it. We'll stop what we're talking about and say, hey, this is a great fucking conversation. Let's go fucking record a video. This is something we can talk a lot about, and that's what you can expect from our channel. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, and you're one of these people that cries and unsubscribes once I talk about one of your favorite toys in a critical matter, peace, bitch.
Leave a dislike.
Leave a dislike. Peace, bitch.
I mean, because the number one thing is, just because you disagree with us doesn't mean that, you know, we have
doesn't
to
mean
hate
we're
each
wrong.
other. And it doesn't mean that we're wrong. And it doesn't mean that you're wrong.
By not saying anything and just unsubscribing, you're proving how out of your fucking depth you are. Because you can't even throw a counter opinion. I had a dude who hardcore plays Destiny, Jesse Landy, I think was your name, bro. He commented on a couple of my 2 newest Destiny videos, which are my last Destiny videos, because I'm done touching it. But he had a very articulated point about the progression and what they've done to make it better, and he makes good points. From Destiny 1, there are certain things that are better. The story is actually in the game. You're able to unlock notes and actually read it. My criticism still stands where it almost always feels disjointed and way too hard to gain access to because it's built behind this mobile grind. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But he's saying, you know, he's telling you what things he can do. Yeah.
My counter argument to that would be too little too late. It's been added with the Forsaken patch, so it's like...
That's the thing, is it shouldn't have taken them to...
that long.
And it's almost like, when you look at it, and you have a very conspiratorial mind, you kind of look at it as like they probably did it on purpose. Because they wanted that Taken King marketing surge. Because that's what the Taken King did. It was a marketing surge for Destiny. It brought a lot of players back, got a lot of players more interested in Destiny again, and it sold another $40 game add-on. On top of already a $35 season pass and a $60 buy-in to the door. So like, that's the thing, that, you know, and me and this guy may never see eye to eye, but being able to see his side and look into that window and have it not be someone who's just, you insulted my favorite toy and I'm an incoherent fucking feeling-driven mess, so I can't properly fucking convey my displeasure with your words right now. So instead I'm gonna unsub and fucking run away and say, fuck you, faggot, in the fucking comments. Like, instead of being that, he was articulate, he was fucking, look, dude, this is why I like it. And he makes great points. And his points and my points at the end of the day are completely subjective, based on our own feelings towards something, based on our own likes and dislikes. And it's nice to see a well-articulated response to the contrary of what I'm saying. So if you can do that, do it, please. I'd love to hear it. But if you're one of those babies that, bye. Talk to you later. Yeah. Everyone else, we fucking love you. Till next time, stay fucking awesome, stay gaming, and keep kicking fucking ass.
We'll see you, everybody.